Okay, now I thought for my second ride that I thought for some reason that everything might be open, that we'd be in, I don't know, tier 3 or something. There might be shops and things to look at, but that's not the case. We're actually in tier 4. It's probably going to get worse. It's just before Christmas, so I thought we'd come to a place where things being open doesn't necessarily matter. So I've come to Hampstead Heath. I walk on the Heath with my friend Oscar a couple of times a week, and I have never seen it this busy, because this is, I guess, all people can do is to come to the Heath or a park and wander about. Feels a bit like when there's a transport strike. In the old days, it used to be that the streets were full of people walking, and you imagine that's what it was like in Victorian times. The streets are full of people walking. So I'm also going to stick to the bike lanes. I'm not going to go off road. Or it's a debate, isn't it? But I think, if you're cycling, I think by and large, if you disobey the rules too flagrantly, it just upsets people, and that I tend to try and be. It's just socially responsible to stick to the rules. And if you can see those people over there boxing training. We just passed the Park Cafe. Now, Park Cafe was a rare victory for the people. The authorities wanted to sell it off to some Benugo or somebody, but the community fought back and it was saved. And it's run by a very nice Italian family. They do very nice pasta and all that. And sit outside in the summer. That's the Royal Free Hospital straight ahead. A masterpiece of 1960s incomprehensible architecture. Hard to get to. I think they have to have people in there. They used to have in there who kind of like Sherpas who would show you around. It was so incoherently designed. I feel slightly remiss that I should be saying that's a hornbeam and that's an oak. I don't really know much. I mean, I like trees. Don't get me wrong, I like trees, but I can tell you, all the minute gradations in Alfa Romeos over the years, but the trees, I can't really tell one from another. So you can work it out for yourself anyway. We're passing. So this Hampstead Heath was mostly heathland, common land that was gradually incorporated into a facility for people of London. But I was reading, I tried to do a bit of reading up fairly pathetically, and it was actually run by the Greater London Council until that was disbanded by Thatcher, and now it's run by the City of London. Now, given all that talk of being socially responsible, there's no cycling there, so my only option. I thought there was a path somewhere that leads you north up the Heath, so I'll try and locate that. And when I cycled here, cyclists have a very bad reputation, but when I cycled here, there was a a lot of the way there was a Deliveroo rider and a guy in a kind of high-end hybrid. And when I say hybrid, I don't mean it's got an electric motor in it, but it's a kind of a cross between a racing bike and a mountain bike. And both of them stopped at every traffic light, even when it wasn't a car in sight. They just stopped at every light. And I sort of think, if there'd been nobody, hadn't been another cyclist, I would have perhaps gone through the lights since there's no danger to anybody. But if there's another cyclist, I always feel compelled to do whatever they're doing. And so it took slightly longer to get up here than it would in normal circumstances. But there you are, Deliveroo rider, behaving completely responsibly. So it's an exciting ride. We're going the moment back the way we came. I assume people will just think I'm talking on the phone while I'm doing this. So usually it's when I come here with my friend Oscar, it's completely empty, the Heath. I mean, 2 or 3, you see a few people. There's less. It used to be entirely really composed of kind of Middle European psychoanalysts walking in twos, professors of philosophy occasionally. So that's the thing about Hegelian dialectic is the differential between the interpretation. You don't get that so much anymore. I guess that generation has died out. Another chance to see the Park Cafe. I wonder if there's a path that goes. I'm not really. Usually I walk on this, I don't cycle. This might be a very dull bike ride. Brightly coloured dog. Right. Partly I think the attraction of these things is not the stuff I say, but just the hypnotic quality of the ride, and that exists whether or not I'm saying anything. That's what I'm putting my faith in. Now, see that bag that girl's got? It's Craghaven. What are they called? Craghaven Kanken. That's a bag. You see, I thought, there's a thing when you're a comedian. When you do stuff, let's see if there's a route this way. When you do stuff, it's because it's got into the public consciousness. And I thought those Craghaven Kanken bags were so ubiquitous that I did a joke about, see there's another one there, a joke about I was married into my girlfriend was one of the Craghaven Kanken dynasty, and her father was a Nazi. The original Craghaven has been a leading Norwegian Nazi, and it died on its arse really, because people, it had in fact failed. It was not in the public consciousness at all, the ubiquitous of the Craghaven Kanken. But one day perhaps there will come a point when everybody goes, oh yeah, Craghaven Kanken, and I'll resurrect that joke. So this is, it says no cycling actually. I thought, didn't say no cycling before. So I'm going to ignore it. I'm sure this is it's a permitted route. Certainly can see no no signs forbidding it. So these are the famous Hampstead ponds. This one is, I think, a nature pond. There's something like 7. You're getting a great demonstration of my bike handling skills here, because I'm virtually having to come to a stop, but I'm never getting off the bike. I'm staying upright, man. All right, get a wriggle on here. Yes, there are Hampstead ponds. There's the ladies' pond, the men's pond, swimming, the mixed pond for sailing your boat, your model boat, and I think the others are kind of nature reserves. Originally, I think they were built. There's tributary of the River Fleet, as nearly everything is, and originally I think they were used to supply drinking water to London. Now people swim in them. Maybe you can tell me how many Craghaven Cancan bags we see. So you used to see Terry Jones here, the Python here, died. John le Carré, you see. Julian Barnes, the Booker Prize winning author, you see, on the Heath. And no trip to the Heath, no trip to any park, woodland in North London is complete without a sighting of Doctor Who actor Christopher Eccleston, who's usually running frantically somewhere. So I count it a bleak day. It's a sad day. I would just say no cycling. I'm sorry about that, so I'm a hypocrite. Never mind, nobody seems bothered. I'm cycling quite, I'm not being, no, actually I think this is a permitted path maybe. And it's quite steep. See this has a yellow bicycle on it. So this is permiso. Whether or not I can get up, no cycling. Sorry. Clearly that's the thing you see a bit more now, is cyclists riding around with music playing. I try to enjoy it. I don't know whether this is too bumpy, but it is clearly allowed in terms of cycling. And why they think that it's such a bumpy track is where cyclists would like to go. But this is what we're doing. So we're heading up. We're perhaps going to end up at Kite Hill, which is a very high hill where people fly kites. You would never work that out, would you, really, without my still no sign of Christopher Eccleston. I'm also in the lowest gear there's possible to be in. Tributary of the Fleet there, it's crossed up. And I think I'm kind of speed bump. They took that guy out. Maybe we'll do an audio track over this in which my breathing is much less laboured, giving you the impression that I'm much fitter than I actually am. Now, again, where are they? I mean, one of the things about Hampstead Heath is that they keep signposting to a minimum, which is good, but you've got to look out for, if you're making a hypocritical, fatuous points about sticking to the permitted bike lanes, and you have to look out for the little yellow bicycles painted on the road. Thank you. I assume that was that woman rather than the dog saying I was very good. Nice people. Yeah. Woodland. I thought I was going to be, somehow I thought I was going to be more poetic. I thought I would say all kinds of, thank you, moving and amusing, interesting things about, because I do spend a lot of time here. I thought I'd have something profound to say about it, but I haven't really. This was featured in this road here, this crossroad, as it were. I remember was featured in an episode of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the Alec Guinness one, the definitive BBC one, which was terrific, as opposed to the movie one, the Gary Oldman one, which was fucking awful, I think. They wheeled that one out a bit when John le Carre died a few days ago. But it's just terrible. An example, I think, of some of the incredible subtlety of the BBC original and how something is there's kind of crudity and a kind of stupidity about the more recent one, I think, that says something about our age. But quite what? I don't know. In a way, you people watching this are doing wonders for my heart and lung workout, because if I wasn't doing this for a video, probably would have got off by now. When I was young, I used to do quite a few bike rides for left-wing causes. I remember riding from London to Oxford for Nicaragua. Couldn't do that now. I may turn round in a second, not because I'm completely fucked, because I still think I need to get back to base camp. I don't quite know where I'm going on this route. I think up towards Kenwood. See what's around this corner. Still no Christopher Eccleston. Alright, I'm going to turn around And you can see this from the other direction. I owe you people nothing. Well, it's more fun for me. Maybe we'll see that woman who likes me again and her dog. Nearly in the highest gear now. I think that I always think that that hampered my career as a Tour de France rider. That was that I'm not a good descender. If you watch the Tour de France, you'll see that they do. At some point, you will be required to go down a mountain at 70 miles an hour, 70 kilometers an hour, rather. And I can't do that. I don't have the nerve to do that. I'm in too high a gear now. I don't really have the nerve to do that, so I think that really hampered. Apart from that, I think I could have worn the yellow jersey on a couple of stages. I could have worn a yellow jersey anyway. Also because it's muddy, I've got fairly thin tyres, so without much tread on them, so I've got an amazing amount of grip. Don't want to come off, so I'm also running slow because of that. Passed these two before, I think. I should have anything from behind. So this is London, end of 2020. And this is all that is possible to do. Is wander about. If you're lucky, you can get a takeaway coffee. First cyclist, first one we've seen, I think, isn't it? Also behaving, he's not, batting along inconsiderately, taking it easy. Understanding that this is a shared space. We all have social responsibilities. Years ago, I did this series of films for BBC Two called Drive, which was how to drive responsibly and kindly. It did very well, won some awards, shit like that. But what I didn't realise was that, I don't know whether they still do, but they have those traffic schools for people who've been caught speeding, and that they would show my film, Drive, to those people who were attending this trial. I was wondering why every white van was trying to kill me. It's because they'd have to sit through 3 hours of me lecturing them on how to drive well. It's good though. It improved my driving tremendously. This is Southend Green, and Bill Oddie, these ponds here, Bill Oddie used to have a house that backed onto these I'm in too high a gear, and oh man, I got up it anyway. I'm fit. I'm a fit old 68-year-old. Yeah. So I'm gonna head out off the Heath and head home in the second part of this video. So there's no sorry. Oh, wait, I've got this way. Speed all about it. Second part of this, as long as the batteries last, will be me heading for home and all the amazing things that I see and talk about in a very unilluminating manner.